Imagine waking up one day to find your world turned upside down, your love betrayed, and your dreams shattered. This is Emily's story, and it's one you won't forget. My husband divorced me after I became crippled and couldn't provide for him anymore, unaware of my $100 million inheritance. Hello, welcome back to Story Loom. Please do well to subscribe, and let us know where you're watching this story from in the comment section below. Emily believed her life was a blessing, even on the tough days. She woke up every morning at 5 a.m., packed her husband David's lunch, and opened her small bakery before sunrise. Customers loved her cinnamon rolls and the way she greeted everyone with a smile. From the outside, it looked perfect. David would wave at her through the bakery window, wearing his tailored shirts, flashing his white teeth. People thought he was supportive, a good husband. But inside their small apartment, things were different. David hadn't held a steady job in 2 years. He blamed the economy, said jobs were beneath him, or claimed he was waiting for the right opportunity. Emily didn't mind working hard, but some nights, she wondered why David no longer looked at her the way he did when they were first married. One rainy morning, Emily stood by the window, watching the traffic roll by. David entered the kitchen, rubbing his eyes, his phone glued to his hand. "Morning, David," Emily said, placing his coffee on the table. He grunted, scrolling through his messages. "You're up early as usual." Emily smiled, trying to ignore his tone. "We've got a big order for Mrs. Taylor's birthday party today. I'll need your help at the bakery after lunch if you're free." David didn't look up. "I might have plans. Steve said he wants to talk business. Don't wait for me." Emily's smile faded. She sipped her tea in silence. David finished his coffee, left his cup on the table, and walked out without another word. Pause, suspenseful tone, but what happens when the life you've built crumbles in an instant? Stay with Story Loom to find out. Emily was driving back from the store, singing along with the radio, her mind already at the bakery. She never saw the truck coming. There was a screech, then darkness. She woke up to the sharp smell of disinfectant. The beeping of machines echoed in her ears. Her body felt heavy, legs numb. A nurse leaned over her. "Emily, you're awake. Can you hear me?" Emily tried to move her legs. Nothing happened. Panic surged through her. "Where's my husband?" she whispered, her voice weak. "He's outside. I'll send him in." A few minutes later, David walked in. He looked pale and anxious, but his face softened when he saw her awake. "You scared me, Em," he said, forcing a smile. "What happened?" Emily asked, her voice shaking. "You were in a bad accident. The doctor said your spine was injured. They don't know if you'll walk again." Emily's hands shook. "I can't feel my legs." David reached for her hand, but she noticed how he hesitated. His fingers felt cold. "We'll get through this," Emily said, mostly to herself. "Together?" David nodded, but his eyes drifted to his phone. The weeks that followed were a blur of pain, therapy, and paperwork. Emily's bakery had to close. The bills came in fast. Insurance barely covered the basics. David grew distant. He stopped sleeping in the same bed, blaming Emily's late-night pain for keeping him up. He stayed out later, always with some excuse. One evening, Emily lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. David came in, smelling of expensive cologne. "You're late," Emily said softly. David tossed his keys on the dresser. "I had drinks with Steve. He might have a job for me." Emily reached out. "I miss you, David. I miss us." David sighed. "Emily, I'm tired. I can't do this every night." Emily's voice broke. "I need you. This is hard for me." David turned away. "It's hard for both of us." She heard the anger in his voice, but also the fear. She wondered when their love had started to slip away. A week later, Emily's best friend, Rachel, dropped by with groceries. Rachel hugged Emily gently. You look thin. Are you eating? Emily shrugged. Not much of an appetite. Rachel put the groceries away and sat beside Emily. How's David? Emily hesitated. Distant. I'm scared, Rachel. I don't know what to do. Rachel squeezed her hand. You're strong. You always find a way. David walked in, surprised to see Rachel. Hey, didn't know you were here. Rachel smiled. Just keeping Emily company. David's eyes lingered on Rachel a bit too long. Emily felt a twinge of discomfort but pushed it aside. Days turned into weeks. Emily did her best to keep busy. She started baking at home, selling cookies online. She wanted to contribute, to feel useful. David, meanwhile, grew more agitated. He avoided talking about bills, snapped when Emily asked questions, and stayed out later than ever. Intriguing tone, what would you do if you overheard a secret that shattered your trust? Stick with Story Loom as Emily uncovers a painful truth. One night, as Emily struggled to fall asleep, she heard voices in the hallway. She wheeled herself quietly to the door. Rachel's voice whispered, she's asleep. Are you sure about this? David replied, I can't do this anymore, Rachel. She's not the woman I married. Emily's breath caught in her throat. Her hands shook as she tried to will herself away quietly, her heart pounding. The next morning, David acted as if nothing had happened. Emily, pale and exhausted, decided to confront him. David, can we talk? She asked as he put on his jacket. He looked annoyed. What is it? Tears filled Emily's eyes. Are you seeing someone else? David didn't answer. He picked up his keys and walked to the door. Emily pleaded. Please, David. I need to know. He stopped. His voice was cold. You need to focus on yourself, Emily. I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving. Emily's world spun. She wanted to scream, to run after him, but her legs wouldn't move. She sat in silence, feeling more alone than she ever had before. Rachel stopped visiting. Emily realized she had lost her two closest people in one blow. She called her mother, who lived in another state. Emily, you need to fight, her mother urged. Don't let this break you. I don't know how, Emily sobbed. I have nothing left. Her mother tried to comfort her, but Emily barely listened. She spent her days staring at the ceiling, her nights fighting off tears. One day, a letter arrived. It was from a law firm. Emily stared at the envelope, unsure what to expect. She opened it with trembling hands. The letter read, Dear Miss Parker, we regret to inform you of the passing of your uncle, Arthur Parker. As per his last will, you are named as a beneficiary. Please contact our office at your earliest convenience. Emily barely remembered her uncle. She hadn't seen him since she was a child. She crumpled the letter and tossed it aside. More family drama was the last thing she needed. But that night, as she sat alone in her kitchen, she picked up the letter again. For the first time in weeks, she felt a tiny flicker of curiosity. The next day, the landlord knocked. Emily, I need to talk to you about the rent. It's late again. I know, Mr. Harris. I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. He sighed. I'm giving you another week. After that, I have to find another tenant. Emily nodded, feeling the walls closing in. After he left, she looked at the law firm's letter once more. Maybe, she thought, she should call, not because she believed in miracles, but because she had nothing left to lose. That evening, she called the number. A woman answered, Good evening, Parker and Associates. How can I help you? Emily's voice shook. This is Emily Parker. I received a letter about my uncle's will. The woman's tone brightened. Yes, Miss Parker. We've been trying to reach you. Are you available to come to our office this week? Emily hesitated. I'm in a wheelchair now. It's hard for me to get around. The woman was sympathetic. That's no problem. We can arrange transportation for you if you'd like. Emily agreed, barely believing she was doing this. After the call, she felt a strange mixture of fear and hope. That night, Emily lay awake, thinking of David and Rachel. She remembered the promise she made to herself the day she opened her bakery: never give up, no matter how hard it gets. She didn't know what the next day would bring, but for the first time since the accident, she was willing to find out. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love for you to join our Story Loom community. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from and how this story hits home for you. Through our stories, we build hope and give a future to children and women abused all over the world. Please support us by sharing, subscribing, and engaging with our stories. Alright, let's jump back in. Emily barely slept the night before her appointment. She kept thinking about David's last words, the sound of Rachel's voice, and the letter from her late uncle's lawyers. A part of her still hoped David might call, apologize, or show up at the door, but her phone stayed silent. The next morning, a black sedan from the law firm arrived. The driver was kind, helping her into the car and making sure she was comfortable. Emily watched the city pass by, wondering what waited for her. At the firm's office, a friendly assistant wheeled her into a quiet meeting room. An older man in a gray suit entered, holding a thick file. He smiled gently. "Good morning, Miss Parker. I'm Mr. Turner. Thank you for coming." Emily nodded, still unsure what to expect. Mr. Turner sat across from her. "I'm sorry for your loss. Your Uncle Arthur spoke about you often in his final years." Emily was surprised. "I barely remember him. We lost touch." Mr. Turner nodded. "He lived a quiet life, but he cared about family." He opened the file. "Mr. Parker named you his sole beneficiary." Emily interrupted. "Beneficiary? I thought he was just leaving me a watch or something." Mr. Turner smiled. "Actually, your uncle was a very successful investor. His estate is significant." Emily stared. "How significant?" Mr. Turner hesitated. "The total value is a little over $100 million. Emily's jaw dropped. For a moment, she couldn't breathe. "That's impossible." "I assure you, it's real," Mr. Turner said. "There are conditions. You must keep this inheritance private for 6 months. Your uncle wanted to protect you from people with bad intentions. You may use some funds for necessities, but the bulk will be released after 6 months, as long as you maintain secrecy." Emily tried to process the news. "Does anyone else know?" "No one outside this office." "Your uncle was clear about that." Emily's mind raced. After months of misery, hope flickered again. "What do I have to do?" "We'll help you with everything," Mr. Turner assured her. "Take your time. If you have questions, call me." Back home, Emily sat by her window for hours, staring out at the city. Her thoughts kept circling back to David and Rachel. Should she tell them? The memory of David's cold goodbye echoed in her mind. As the sun set, her phone buzzed. A message from Rachel. "Hey, Emily. I know things have been rough. Let me know if you need anything." Emily stared at the message. Did Rachel care, or was she checking to see if Emily was truly alone? She didn't reply. Minutes later, someone knocked. It was David. He looked tired, but he still smelled of expensive cologne. "Can we talk?" Emily was wary. "About what?" David's voice was soft. "About us. I made a mistake. I miss you, Em." Emily's heart pounded. Why now? Why after everything? David looked away. "Rachel and it wasn't real. I was angry. I thought you didn't need me anymore. I was wrong." Emily didn't speak. She remembered overhearing David with Rachel, planning to leave her. David continued, "I want to fix things. Let me come home." Emily's voice shook. You left me when I needed you most. You betrayed me. He knelt by her chair. I'm sorry. Please, Emily, let me make it right. Emily's eyes filled with tears, but she shook her head. You didn't just hurt me. You broke my trust. I can't forgive that. David's face hardened. Are you seeing someone else? Is that why you're so cold? Emily was shocked. No. I just learned to survive without you. David stood, angry now. You'll regret this. Don't come crawling to me when you need help. He stormed out, slamming the door. Rachel called later, but Emily let it ring. She didn't need more lies. That night, as she lay awake, Emily resolved to keep the inheritance secret, not out of spite, but for her own peace. The next morning, a knock at the door startled her. This time, it was Rachel, holding coffee and a bag of pastries. Emily, I know you're hurting. Let's talk, Rachel said, sitting beside her. Emily stayed quiet. Rachel looked nervous. David's a mess. He regrets what happened. You should talk to him. Emily studied Rachel. Did you love him? Rachel hesitated. I don't know. It was stupid. He said you pushed him away. Emily's eyes narrowed. He lied, and you helped. Rachel looked away, ashamed. I'm sorry. Emily's voice was calm. You came here for a reason, Rachel. What is it? Rachel fidgeted. Are you okay financially? I heard you got some money from your family. Emily stiffened. I have enough. Rachel's eyes lit up, hopeful. If you ever need a business partner, let me know. Emily almost laughed. I'll think about it, she said, though she knew she never would. Rachel left soon after, her fake concern exposed. Emily spent the next week quietly rebuilding her life. With a small advance from the inheritance, she paid the rent, bought groceries, and hired a part-time caregiver to help at home. One afternoon, her childhood friend Michael visited. He brought flowers and a warm smile. Look at you, Em. You're still fighting, Michael said, sitting beside her. Emily smiled for the first time in weeks. Trying my best. Life has been interesting. Michael nodded. If you need anything, I'm here. I mean it. Emily looked at him, grateful. Thank you, Michael. That means more than you know. As the weeks passed, rumors started in the neighborhood. People whispered that Emily was doing well despite losing her bakery and her husband. Some wondered how she was paying her bills. David and Rachel, hearing the rumors, grew suspicious. David messaged Emily again, did you win the lottery or something? How are you affording all this? Emily replied simply, I'm surviving. He wrote back, you owe me, Emily. Don't forget everything I did for you. Emily didn't respond. Rachel tried one more time, sending a long message about forgiveness and moving on. Emily read it, deleted it, and turned off her phone. She had wasted enough time on people who only wanted her when she was useful. One evening, Michael invited Emily to his family's Sunday dinner. At first, she refused, embarrassed about her wheelchair, but Michael insisted. At the dinner, Michael's parents greeted her warmly. His mother served her extra pie and called her family. For the first time in months, Emily laughed, told stories, and felt like herself again. Driving home, Michael said, you're stronger than you think, Emily. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Tears pricked Emily's eyes. She realized she was no longer alone. Back at her apartment, Emily looked at her reflection. She was thinner, paler, but her eyes were clear. She saw someone who had survived heartbreak and betrayal and found her own strength. She whispered to herself, I deserve better. As she closed her eyes that night, she finally felt a sense of peace. She didn't know what the next months would bring, but she knew one thing, David and Rachel were her past. Her future was hers to build. Emily's days began to shift. No more waiting for David's messages or Rachel's apologies. Each morning, she rolled to her little kitchen, made tea, and wrote out a plan for the day. Tiny steps: send emails, sort out bills, make lists. She was determined to stay afloat, no matter how slowly. The law firm sent a discreet transfer to her account, enough to cover living costs, groceries, and the overdue rent. Emily was careful. She didn't want to attract attention. She told the landlord a distant relative sent some help. He accepted her rent with a smile. Michael stopped by more often. Sometimes he brought fresh bread, sometimes just company. You ever think about baking again? He asked one afternoon, watching her mix batter with practiced hands. Emily looked at her hands, dusted in flour. I think about it every day. Maybe you should start small. You've still got the touch. She smiled, a little surprised by the warmth in her own voice. Maybe I will. That week, she started a tiny online business, selling her famous cookies and cakes. She kept the operation quiet, just a few customers at first. Each sale was a small victory. One afternoon, Mr. Turner from the law firm called. Miss Parker, how are you adjusting? He asked. I'm managing, Emily replied, her voice steady. Remember, he said, the main inheritance will be available in 6 months. In the meantime, you can use the advance for yourself and to help others, as your uncle wished. Emily paused. He wanted me to help people. Yes, he admired your kindness. He wrote, Emily always looks out for others. Let her use my gift to make the world softer. Emily smiled. She thought of the single mothers she'd seen at the grocery store, counting out coins. That week, she mailed a stack of grocery gift cards anonymously to families in need. Each act of kindness reminded her that her pain had meaning. She could still help, even if her own heart was bruised. Michael encouraged her to push her business a little more. He helped her design a website and deliver boxes to customers. I can be your delivery guy until you're famous enough to need a whole team, he joked. Orders doubled, then tripled. Emily's kitchen filled with sweet smells and laughter. She couldn't stand, but she could lead. One evening, as Michael packed the last order, he looked at Emily. You're happier. I haven't seen you smile like this in years. Emily nodded. It feels good to work, to create again. He grinned. I'm proud of you, Em. Emily's cheeks flushed, but she didn't look away. Rumors started again. Emily's neighbors noticed delivery vans coming and going, the new wheelchair ramp at her door, her growing confidence. David, now jobless and struggling, heard the whispers. Rachel's resentment grew as their money ran out. One night, David called Emily. She let it ring. He tried again the next day. On the third try, she answered, What do you want, David? Her tone was flat. He tried to sound casual. Just checking on you. You've been busy. Where's the money coming from? Emily paused. Why do you care? He hesitated, then let his anger slip. You're hiding something. Rachel and I, well, we see how things are going for you. It's not right, you sitting on cash while we're drowning. Emily's voice was cold. You made your choice, David. This is my life now. He tried a softer approach. I just want to help. Maybe we could work something out. Emily hung up. Rachel showed up the next afternoon, face tight with stress. Emily, I know you're angry, but David's lost his job. We're about to lose our apartment. Could you lend us something? Just until we're back on our feet. Emily met her gaze. I don't owe you anything, Rachel. You betrayed me when I was at my lowest. Rachel's voice cracked. I'm sorry, Emily. I really am. I hope you find your own strength, Emily said quietly. But you'll have to do it without my help. Rachel left, shoulders slumped. Emily closed the door gently, not out of spite, but finality. Michael celebrated each small milestone with her, 100 online orders, a thank you card from a single mom, a smile from Emily on a day she used to dread. "You're changing lives, Emily," he told her. She knew she was changing, too. Her scars weren't gone, but they didn't own her anymore. 6 months passed, slow but steady. Emily kept the secret close to her chest. The inheritance grew in her mind, not just as money, but as a symbol of survival. One bright morning, a letter arrived from the law firm. The inheritance was now fully hers. She could do anything. She looked around her little apartment, the place where her heart had been broken and rebuilt. She thought of David's betrayal, Rachel's lies, Michael's loyalty, and her uncle's final gift. Emily finally understood, her tragedy was not the end. It was the beginning. She was ready for what came next. The day Emily received her final inheritance notice, she stared at the number on the page for a long time, $100 million. It didn't feel real, even now. She took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and let the relief and responsibility sink in. That morning, Michael visited as usual, bringing fresh flowers and coffee. Emily held up the letter with a shaky hand, barely able to speak. "It's official. It's all mine now." Michael broke into a huge grin. "I knew you'd make it. What are you going to do first?" Emily smiled, a spark of her old self shining through. "I'm reopening the bakery. Bigger, brighter. But it's not just for me. I'm starting a foundation. I want to help people who are struggling, like I was. That's what my uncle wanted." Michael beamed with pride. He picked the right person. Emily spent the next weeks working harder than ever. Contractors renovated a sunny corner building downtown for her new bakery. She hired staff, some disabled, some single parents, some folks down on their luck. She posted online, "New beginnings, sweet treats, open to all." On opening day, there was a line out the door. The smell of fresh bread, cinnamon, and vanilla drifted into the street. People hugged Emily, snapped photos, and told her how much they missed her. Michael was there, helping serve coffee, making jokes, and smiling like he owned the place. The press came, curious about the woman who had come back from nothing. Emily stood in front of the cameras, her voice strong. "I lost everything once, but I got back up with help. Now I want to help others. This bakery, this foundation, is for anyone who needs a second chance." Word spread quickly. Donations poured in. People shared their stories. Emily listened to everyone. It didn't take long for David and Rachel to hear about Emily's return and her new success. Their lives had taken a dark turn. The apartment was gone. The money was gone. David worked odd jobs but hated every minute. Rachel blamed him for everything, their arguments echoing late into the night. One afternoon, Emily sat in her new office, reviewing grant applications for families in need. She heard a knock and looked up. Her breath caught. David and Rachel stood in the doorway, looking gaunt and desperate. "Emily," David began, trying to force a smile. "You look amazing. We wanted to talk." Emily kept her face calm. "What is it?" Rachel stepped forward, hands wringing. "We've made mistakes. We lost everything. We're sorry for how we treated you. We're hoping you can forgive us and maybe help us get back on our feet." Emily felt a sharp pain, old wounds opening, but she steadied herself. "You left me when I was at my worst. You both did. Now you want my help because I'm successful." David's face flushed. "That's not fair. We were lost. You know what it's like to be desperate." Emily nodded. "I do. And I also know what it's like to be betrayed by people I trusted most. I can forgive you, but I won't let you take advantage of me again." Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "Please, Emily. We have nothing." Emily met her gaze. "You have each other. That's more than I had when you both left me." David's mask dropped. "You're nothing without that money. You were always weak." Emily shook her head, her voice steady. I was never weak. You just never saw my strength. She pressed the button for security. You need to leave now. I wish you peace, but you're not welcome here. As they left, Emily felt a weight lift from her shoulders. For the first time, she felt truly free. That afternoon, as the bakery buzzed with laughter and music, Michael found Emily by the window. You handled that with real class, he said, sitting beside her. Emily smiled, tired but proud. I don't want to be bitter, Michael. I just want to move forward. He took her hand. You deserve every good thing coming your way. She squeezed his hand, grateful for his presence. For the first time, she allowed herself to think about a new future, not just surviving, but living. The community embraced Emily's bakery and her foundation. Every week, people she helped sent thank you notes. Some brought flowers, others brought their children to meet the woman who turned pain into hope. Emily gave interviews and shared her story, her real story, without shame. She told everyone, you're stronger than you think. Don't let betrayal or hardship define your life. She watched as her bakery became a place of second chances, a home for those who needed it most. Reflective, uplifting tone, moral lesson, loyalty and kindness are priceless. Those who betray for selfish gain lose everything in the end, while those who endure with courage and a giving heart rise stronger than before. Emily's story became a local legend, a folk tale for the modern day, not about money, but about resilience, forgiveness, and finding family where you least expect it. Join us on Story Loom for more stories that inspire and uplift. Subscribe, share, and tell us in the comments how Emily's journey touched you.